The device you see in my hand is the Galaxy S23 Ultra, launched back in 2023 with a jaw-dropping price tag of $1,200. Now you can find the Galaxy S23 at around $350 to $450 depending on the condition of the device. I have been using the Galaxy S23 for a couple of months now. Today I'm going to review the Galaxy S23 Ultra, and I hope after watching this video you're gonna have an idea on whether the Galaxy S23 Ultra is still worth buying in 2026. As always, my name is Pinon from BT Tech. Let's begin. Like my previous videos, I'm going to cover the 5 major pillars of the Galaxy S23 Ultra. That means design and build quality, display, performance, camera, and battery life. As this is a Samsung device, you will find plenty of other features baked into the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Let's begin with the design and build quality section. So the Galaxy S23 Ultra hands down the best design language Samsung ever put for its Galaxy S series devices. It not only has curved glass on the front but also on the back, which makes the Galaxy S23 Ultra a very comfortable device to hold. In the middle, you'll find aluminum rail. The left side is pretty clean and the right side has all the basic button layouts of typical Samsung devices. On the bottom, you'll find the SIM card slot, the Type-C port, as well as the S Pen. I'll discuss more on the S Pen later down this video. It is a glass sandwich device, so that means you will find glass on the front and also on the back, like every other smartphone in the market. But the edges on the device are pretty sharp, so when you hold the device on your hand for a longer period of time, you'll definitely feel the device digging into your palm. But if you put a case on it, the edges on the device doesn't feel that sharp at all. But you gotta keep in mind that it is a pretty big device, so putting a case on it will make it even bigger of a device. But if you're like me and you like to use a device without a case, then the curved glass on the back will definitely help, but the edges will still dig up on your palm. The device looks minimal, but in the meantime premium, which can still be compared with some latest devices. So I'll give the Galaxy S23 Ultra a solid 8 out of 10 in the design and build quality section. 1 point deducted for the sharp edges or sharp corners, and the other one for the bottom bezel. Talking about the bezel, let's have a look into the display section. The Galaxy S23 Ultra rocks a 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display which can go from 1Hz to 120Hz. It supports HDR10+ videos and the highest peak brightness is around 1750 nits. As mentioned earlier, the curved display makes the side bezels non-existent. But when you turn on the display, you will definitely notice the bottom bezel on the device is slightly thicker than the top bezel. So the verdict is it is not a symmetrical display. I don't know why, but Samsung did put a symmetrical display on both the S23 and S23 Plus. But for some reason, the S23 Ultra doesn't have a symmetrical display. Underneath the display, you will find an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, which can still be compared with some latest devices. The fingerprint scanner is fast, accurate, and reliable. It is not an optical sensor. That means even if you put a screen protector on it, the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner still works as normal. But you still have to re-register your finger after you apply a screen protector. On the front, you will find a circular camera cutout. Like the bottom bezel, you'll not even notice the circular camera cutout after using the device for a while. The curved display does look futuristic and also premium. As day by day, Android is moving towards gesture navigation like the iOS counterpart. The curved display does help during the navigation, like swiping back and forth in a web page or scrolling in the home menu, but it has its downsides. The curved display may introduce some accidental touches, but the palm rejection on this device is good. I'll not say great, because I have found quite a few times that I can navigate back and forth, and later on I discovered my palm or a finger was touching the curve of the display. And applying a screen protector on this device is a real mess. I don't know if it is only me or you guys also have the same experience while trying to install a screen protector on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Every time I tried to use a tempered glass, I found bubbles underneath the display, mostly on the sides. And even if I somehow install the screen protector correctly, a few days later, the bubbles pop up again. That's why I switched to a plastic screen protector, which is more flexible than a glass and easier easier to install. I'll add the link for the screen protector in the description of this video. One of my viewer, Timothy4131, pointed out that the Galaxy S23 Ultra is more prone to scratches. So I checked my own device, and yes, I did use the Galaxy S23 Ultra without a screen protector for a couple of weeks. Then I installed a screen protector on it. So I removed the screen protector and checked, and I found a few scratches on the Galaxy S23 Ultra as well. So I did some research online, and I found that Samsung went for a flexible or softer display rather than a hard glass. The reason is simple. The harder the glass, it is less likely to get scratches. However, it is more prone to shattering. And the more flexible or softer the glass, it is less likely to shatter but more prone to scratches. So you can say Samsung went with this flexible and soft display to protect the glass from shattering rather than having a few scratches on the front. Keep in mind the front of the display is mostly glass and it has curves on it, so the choice was obvious. So overall, I'll give the Galaxy S23 Ultra a 7 out of 10 in the display section. 1 point deducted for the bottom bezel, another point for the hard time that I faced during the installation of the screen protector, and the third one for the scratches. Let's talk about performance. The Galaxy S23 Ultra rocks a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, which is significantly better than the 8 Gen 1. The reason I've said significant is because the Galaxy S22 Ultra rocked a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which had a tendency to overheat, but the S23 Ultra doesn't have that. Yes, it does overheat if you push the limit, but it doesn't get overheated during normal tasks. So let's say watching videos on YouTube, social media, doing some light works, email, etc., etc. This device can handle those tasks without a hitch. I played a couple of heavy games like Genshin Impact as well as PUBG, and yes, PUBG Mobile, Call of Duty, all of them supports 120 FPS. So for day-to-day tasks and gaming, the Galaxy S23 Ultra can still hold up pretty well. The Galaxy S23 Ultra or the Galaxy S23 series came with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. It doesn't have an Exynos counterpart, so it doesn't matter where you buy the Galaxy S23 Ultra across the globe, you'll still find the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. But you gotta keep in mind, the base variant of the Galaxy S23 Ultra has two options. One that comes with 8 gigs of RAM, the other one comes with 12 gigs. And both of those variants have 256 gigs of internal storage. The unit that I have over here is the 8 gig variant. As day by day, more of the manufacturers are putting AI features on their smartphone, the 8 gigs of RAM may bring some limitations on it. Before the One UI 8 update, I felt like the Galaxy S23 Ultra retained apps in the background better than the One UI 8 version. The AI features on this device works really well, but it is limited by the 8 gigs of RAM because most of the internal processing or the AI processing happens internally. But for day-to-day usage and slight gaming, the 8 gigs of RAM is still fine. Talking about the One UI 8, in my experience, the One UI 8 feels more smoother than the iOS 26. On my 16 Pro Max that I'm currently using and testing feels less smooth than the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Yes, I said it. It feels more smoother than the 16 Pro Max that I'm currently using. I must say Samsung perfected its user experience in the One UI 8. So I'll definitely recommend to update your Samsung devices to One UI 8. So in the performance section, I'll give the Galaxy S23 Ultra a solid 8 out of 10. 1 point deducted for the limited 8 gigs of RAM, and the other one, we all know it is a 3 generation old chipset, so it does has its limitation. Let's talk about the camera section. The Galaxy S23 Ultra rocks a 200 megapixel quad camera setup on the back, and on the front you will find a 12 megapixel selfie shooter. The main camera on this device is 200 megapixel, the ultra wide is 12 megapixel, and you will find two 10x optical zoom, which ranges from 3x to 10x. It is the section where the Galaxy S23 Ultra aged like a fine wine. The 200 megapixel camera on the back is still capable enough that can challenge some latest devices. Two separate telephoto lenses that ranges from 3x to 10x optically, which is a huge plus point. And the 12 megapixel ultra wide camera on the Galaxy S23 Ultra is far superior than the other ultra wide cameras that you may find in this price range. The 200 megapixel on the back is same as the S24 and the S25. That means you have the option to select 200 megapixel, or you can just select the 12 megapixel, which will use pixel binning to get a brighter photo or a photo with better quality. To be honest, I'm super satisfied with the camera setup on the Galaxy S23 Ultra, and with the $350 to $450 price tag, it is a solid deal if you were considering the back cameras. The front-facing 12 megapixel camera is still sharp enough, but not comparable to some latest devices. The front-facing camera does shows its age. And talking about aging, the 100x zoom capability on the Galaxy S23 Ultra is not as great as the S24 or the S25. The S25 Ultra has better image processing and software processing as well, so the S23 Ultra falls a bit behind if you compare the 100x zoom. But don't get me wrong, 100 times zoom is still plenty usable, and it is still better than some other counterparts. But the front-facing camera, I'm not so sure about it. During the S23 Ultra launch, some reviewers pointed out that it had a shutter lag. That means when you take a picture, it takes a few seconds, I'll not say few seconds, but it lags for a moment just to process and save the picture on the device. But I'm talking about 2023. It is 2026, and after the software updates and new camera app, the lag is still there, but it is mostly fixed. You will definitely feel the shutter lag, but not as much if you were using the Galaxy S23 Ultra back in 2023 with some older software version. So I'll give the Galaxy S23 Ultra a solid 8 out of 10 in the camera section. 1 point deducted for the front-facing camera and the other one for the shutter lag. Yes, I could deduct 1 point for the zoom capability, but as I mentioned, the 100x zoom is still plenty usable, and based on the price range of the Galaxy S23 Ultra, I can do so. The last pillar is battery life. The Galaxy S23 Ultra has a typical 5000 mAh battery, which is not big nor small. Yes, we have seen smaller devices with bigger and better battery life, but the S23 Ultra is no slouch. Yes, this is 2026 and the device was launched back in 2023. You will not feel the 100% battery life if you were using the device back in 2023. The phones you will find online were either refurbished or renewed, or the battery was changed, so your battery life will vary. But on my use case, on a typical day-to-day usage, the Galaxy S23 Ultra did last me throughout the day. Don't get me wrong, 5000 mAh is still pretty decent, but not for a phone this size. And on a weekend, I did manage to kill this device twice, because I was playing games all day long. I always say this thing about battery life. Battery life varies person to person. It depends solely on how you use it and how long you were using it. So if you are using it for daily normal tasks, let's say watching videos, social media, replying to emails, WhatsApp, and other stuff like that, the S23 Ultra can get you through the day. But if you are a heavy user, yes, you will have to charge this device 1 or 2 times a day. The Galaxy S23 Ultra supports up to 45 watts of wired charging and 15 watts of wireless charging. The Galaxy S23 Ultra also supports reverse wireless charging. That means you can charge your AirPods or any kind of Bluetooth headphones if they support wireless charging. So I'll give the Galaxy S23 Ultra a 7 out of 10 in the battery section. 1 point deducted for the size of the battery, which is 5000 mAh. 1 point deducted for the battery life. Yes, it is a big device, but the battery life will not last you throughout the day if you are a heavy user. Second point deducted for the 45 watts charging. Even though it says 45 watt, I have tried different chargers, but it only supports up to 35 to 39 watts. I don't know if it is only me or because the battery was changed, because yes, it is a 2 years old phone and I got this phone out of eBay. The third point is for the battery size. For such big device, 5000 mAh is not a big size. Yes, back in 2023, we've seen some devices with even bigger batteries, so we know that bigger batteries can be fit under similar sized device or even smaller devices. Let's talk about the extras. The Galaxy S23 Ultra has a S Pen baked into it, and it is better than the S Pen you will find in the S25 Ultra. It's because the Galaxy S23 Ultra's S Pen has a Bluetooth feature baked into it. So if you like to take pictures from a distance, or if you like to take pictures using the back cameras, or if you like to take videos while putting a phone aside, the available button on the S Pen connects with the device itself using Bluetooth, so it can be used as a shutter button. If you are a solo traveler or solo vlogger or solo video maker, the Bluetooth feature or the shutter feature on the S Pen of the S23 Ultra is a must-have. You can zoom in or zoom out via gestures using the S Pen. Another feature that I really liked is the reverse wireless charging. Once I forgot to charge my AirPods, so I used the S23 Ultra's reverse wireless charging to top up my AirPods. In 2026 or even in 2025, the S Pen is no gimmick as we are more and more moving into the digital age. In my personal experience, I have signed quite a few documents using the S Pen. If you have the S Pen baked into your phone, you don't have to worry about printing out some documentation and then signing it out and then scanning it and send it back. You just download the file and download a proprietary app to put a signature on it, and you are good to go. The 100x zoom capability. Yes, I said the 100x zoom is not as great as the S25 series or S25 Ultra to be specific, but it is quite useful. In my experience, I was having difficulties reading the sign across the road. I pulled out my Galaxy S23 Ultra, zoomed it in, and took a picture. That's how I was able to know the name of the road without even crossing the road. Conclusion. So the Galaxy S23 Ultra scored a 7.6 out of 10 in my review, which is pretty decent for a device that was launched back in 2023, which is now currently priced at around $350 to $450 US. So before buying the Galaxy S23 Ultra, you have to consider a few things. From the hardware perspective, it is a solid device, it feels premium, it looks premium, and it has all the premium features of the Galaxy S25 Ultra or even the S26 Ultra. But on the software side, Samsung promised 4 years of Android updates on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. The version Android 16, the Galaxy S23 Ultra currently running on top of One UI 8, is the third major Android update for the Galaxy S23 Ultra. So that means it will only receive one more major Android update, which is Android 17. On top of that, you will still get a year or so of security patches. The reason I said it is important is because more and more we are getting into the digital age or digital world. Our bank information, social media information, or even card informations are in our phone. So if you do not receive security updates or security patches or even Android updates, that's a bit concerning. So the choice is yours. If you want a premium experience under $350 to $450, the S23 Ultra is a no-brainer. Under $450, the Galaxy S23 Ultra is one of the most premium offerings in 2026. If you buy a mid-ranger from Samsung priced similarly, let's say $350 to $450, the S23 Ultra will still stand out. And about the major Android updates, unlike iOS, Android supports apps for a longer period of time. Trust me, I have seen apps with a minimum requirement of Android 10 or even Android 8, even in 2025 or 2026. So you'll not have any problem downloading apps or playing games on this device for the upcoming years. But as I said, for security concern, the S23 Ultra will still have the software update and security updates for more than a year. So if you're planning to use this device for, let's say, 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years at most, yes, you can still get the S23 Ultra even in 2026. So the Galaxy S23 Ultra comes in a few variants. So you have to look out for the 8 gig variant and the 12 gig variant. I'll definitely recommend the 12 gig variant if you find it. If you're not able to find the 256 gig variant with 12 gigs of RAM, I'll suggest go for the 512 gig one, because the 512 gig variant by default has the 12 gigs of RAM. So this was my review for the Galaxy S23 Ultra for the year 2026. Let me know what do you think about it and comment down below what device you are currently using. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel will be highly appreciated. Your likes and comments motivates me to post videos more often. I didn't know content creation was this hard until I decided to do it by myself. So if you subscribe to this channel, that will be a huge deal for me. Until next time, peace out.